Matthew Stafford. Good game. First quarter, Aaron Rodgers, Dan, Davante Adams. How do we describe this play?
Yeah, unstoppable. That's that back shoulder fade. It's a great throw, but how about like that body adjustment by Davante? Then the stand phase running, split those defenders, early touchdown for Green Bay's offense.
He had a quiet 7 catches for 115 yards. Tied at 7. Now we're tied at 14. It's Rodgers. How about the laser to Marquez Valdez-Scantling?
Yeah, ball out on time, and then it's an awesome job by MVS of coming back to the football, get in front of those defenders, secure it, and then this is just feel by Rodgers. Red zone, defenders collapse. I can beat you with my speed to the front pylon. He's making such good decisions with the football.
He gets himself there. Meanwhile, again, the Lions hung in this game. 7 minutes to play. They're down 2 touchdowns. And on television, Mark Schlereth said that Matthew Stafford gets folded up like an accordion on this play, and that's exactly what he does. He would have to go to the sideline. The Lions, however, would score a touchdown on the next play. So it's a 7-point game. We got ourselves an onside kick, an opportunity. The Lions actually get their hands on it, but it's out of bounds. And like that, the Packers hold on to win it 31-24. Rodgers threw for 290 yards and 3 touchdowns and, of course, ran for another. And so I'm looking at the whole group here. Does anyone want to say this morning Aaron Rodgers has taken the lead in the MVP race?
Oh, for sure. I will. Can my hand get in there?
Go ahead, Danny.
Sure. Yeah, I've felt for a couple weeks now that it's been Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers just kind of in lockstep, right? Like one by one. I felt like Aaron Rodgers has been performing equally, if not better, with a little bit less to work with than Patrick Mahomes does. But the day that Mahomes has yesterday and then Aaron has his afternoon, he's got to be the leader right now. I mean, he's got a better QBR. He's got more touchdown passes. He's got a better touchdown to interception ratio. His team is winning. He's doing everything he wants with the football whenever he wants. And so that combination of him and Davante Adams has been absolutely unstoppable. I'm sitting here saying today Aaron Rodgers is the leader for the MVP race in the NFL.
Okay, perhaps more importantly, though, Ryan Clark, the Packers are the leader as we speak in the NFC standings. Are they, in your opinion, the team to beat in the NFC?
No, they aren't. No, they're a lot closer to that team this year than they were last year because of the way that Aaron Rodgers is playing. But I still don't believe in this defense. I still don't believe when you play against teams like the Los Angeles Rams or the New Orleans Saints, once they get Drew Brees back, who will have running backs that they're comfortable giving the ball to, that will have game plans that understand we're going to try to exploit things that the Green Bay Packers don't do well. I think they'll have tough times against those teams in meaningful football games late in January. But when you look at this Packers team, when you think about the way that Aaron Rodgers is playing, the synergy with Davante Adams, obviously Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams in the backfield, they're different offensively. I think they're better prepared to compete in some of those high-scoring games, but I still have to see this defense do more. I still want to see this defense dominate at some point. And obviously when you have an offense like this that can make those plays, you don't have to be a shutout defense, but you have to make plays in critical moments, and I have yet to see that from the front of this team against good competition.
Quickly, Rex, what do you see? How about, do they have enough defense?
Yeah, look, I know where Ryan's coming from on this, but I think, and I've seen this team getting better and better defensively. It's not by huge strides, but they are making strides. And look, do I see things through rose-colored glasses? Probably, because I got 2 of my boys out there coaching. So
you got boys everywhere, Rex.
You know what I do, but these are my guys. Like, Mike Pettin and Mike Smith, absolutely. But I do see them getting better. And here's what's scary: when they get ahead of you, they do have the athletes in the back end and the pass rushers up front to close out games. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're the best team in the NFC.
There was a stretch of the season where they were just getting run on to the tune of enormous numbers. That hasn't really been the case. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I think that the Packers are the only team in the NFC that has 2 things. One, they have a coach that schemes up guys to get open. Like, to win in the NFL, to win a Super Bowl, you've got to have that. You've got to have the scheme and the coach that schemes guys open, that gets easy throws for your quarterback. Matt LaFleur does that on a consistent basis. And then they also have a quarterback that makes those once in, one guy on the planet type of throws. they've got to make those 4 to 5 jaw-dropping throws a game. Aaron Rodgers has that. And so you're looking at, they're the only team in the NFC that has that coach that can do that, but then also the quarterback that, like, when guys are covered, it doesn't matter because he can just make those perfect throws. They're the only team in that conference that can do that. The Chiefs and the Bills are the only team in the NFL that can match that as well. So they're one of 3 teams in the league that has that combination, but they're the only team in the NFC. That's why I think they're different. Like, in 2020, I think that's different in the NFL with football.
I'm just looking at the other teams in the conference that they may wind up having to face. If everything comes through Lambeau Field, that is going to be a tough task for anybody to knock off Aaron. Question, Dan Orlovsky, what game do we think he watched?
I didn't watch the same Tampa Bay game that Bruce Arians did. I thought they were the most unimpressive team that I focused on yesterday. I mean, they earned 21 points. They scored 24. You're not going to get that Hail Mary field goal that whatever, if it's a penalty or not, you're probably not going to get those 3 points traditionally. And then the Vikings kind of hurt themselves with all those missed kicks. That's 10 points right there. I mean, you could easily lost that football game to a team that was in overtime against the 1-win Jags the week before. And you look the same as you did before the bye week. There wasn't a ton of, impactful pre-snap motion. There wasn't a ton of play-action pass. There wasn't a ton of 12 personnel. There was a drive in the third quarter that looked cool. Other than that, you looked very similar. So I walk away going, what did you guys do in the bye week? What did you figure out in the bye week that you're like, we got to do more of that or we got to do less of this? I thought the Buccaneers looked very similar to what they did for the great majority of this season offensively, and they were really unimpressive to me in their win.
What'd you see, RC?
No, I think that you guys hit it dead on. I don't know what game he was watching, but this is what I do know about BA from spending some time with him in Pittsburgh is he is very much like our friend Marcus Spears. He ain't scared of that yak. And, you never know. Maybe he got back to the locker room and hit a little bit of that yak first before he gave this post-game press conference because that's not it. That team you saw doesn't make you walk into your post-game press conference with your chest poked out thinking that arrogantly confident that you played a great game or that you could do whatever the hell you want. This isn't a team that moved the ball up and down the football field against the Minnesota Vikings. This isn't a team that blew the Minnesota Vikings out without them losing 10 points because Dan Bailey can't kick the oblong ball made of pigskin through the big H. They were struggling offensively against the Minnesota Vikings. They missed some plays early until the Scotty Miller big touchdown. They didn't run the football necessarily as efficiently as I think they need to for the play-action game to be great. And this defense wasn't dominant at all. This is the team that's supposed to be ascending to be an NFC championship contender, and they are not. And that's what Bruce Arians should have been talking about more than the fact that they could do whatever the hell they want.
Now, to take the other side of it, Rex, I know there is something they did that you liked very much.
Well, I actually like the fact they did at least attempt to run the football. So, and they got Brady under center some. So if there's a positive that way, let's face it, you know what they do over the bye week? They probably played a lot of golf. They wanted to play a little more golf than they did. But yes, no, none of us know what the hell Bruce is talking about. Maybe it's the fact that they did run the football a little more. And yes, he knows you're going to have to be balanced, especially, going into this month and in the playoffs.
So as you watch them, and again, we're going to get to some of the other teams. We've seen New Orleans, we've seen, and obviously New Orleans has beaten them twice this year, Green Bay and others. Is Tampa right now, that team you watched yesterday, are they a threat to make a deep playoff run?
No, I don't see that. And let's face it, Dalvin Cook, they ran the ball down their throat. And who outplayed who? If they had a kicker like, Dan Bailey, look, bless his heart, he was a good kicker at once. But nobody cares who the hell you kick for, before.
Right.
You got to do a job right now, and he didn't do it. And all the momentum you lose when you don't kick field goals.
A quick final thought. Go ahead, Danny.
I just think that there's nothing in this football team that makes me go, the expectations are Super Bowl. There's nothing in this football team that I go, that's a Super Bowl caliber performance or unit or identity. I don't see that at all with this football team.
Very quickly, I'm being told in my ear that Doug Peterson has done a radio interview this morning. I'm just going to throw this in and says he has not made a decision yet on who his quarterback is going to be next week. We have very definitively made that decision for him.
We chose Jalen.
Doug, if you're watching, the choice has already been made. You may be the last one.